why you're still single.
People have no idea why they're actually single. They
'Cause you're
blame the
weird.
apps, they blame the shallow people, they blame bad luck or bad timing, they blame literally everything except the one thing that actually matters. But if I'm being honest with you, the reason you don't have someone isn't about them, it's about you. And once you understand that, everything changes. In this video, I'm going to break down the real reasons you're still single, and more importantly, how to actually fix it. And let's start with one of the biggest reasons. You're closed off. And I don't mean you have walls because you're hurt or anything. Well, maybe you do. I don't know who you are, but that's not the main issue. The main issue is that you're afraid to be vulnerable with another person. What people don't understand about relationships is that they require risk, real risk, and you have to let someone see you, the actual you know, the real, messy, insecure, uncertain version of you. And to most people, that's terrifying. And I know that is because I had to do that too. And when they see the real you and they don't like it, then you know it's not about your looks or your job or anything external. It's genuinely about you. And it's about who you actually are. So instead, most people build walls to keep everything surface level. They make jokes instead of having real conversations. They keep people at a distance and tell themselves it's because other people aren't worth their time. But here's the truth. Nobody wants to date someone that's walled off. People want to be with someone they can actually connect with, someone who trusts them enough to be real. And if you're not willing to take that risk, or if you're willing to not actually be vulnerable, then you're not actually ready for a relationship. It's not that you can't find anyone, it's that you're not emotionally available. And I used to be like this. You know, I used to be an idiot, but I'm still an idiot. I'm only 18, but I used to be a turbo idiot
18?
when I was younger. And I thought if I didn't let anyone, you know, close, I couldn't get hurt. You know, turns out that's a pretty lonely way to live, and nobody wants to be with someone who won't let them in. The second reason is that you have standards that don't exist. You want someone spontaneous but stable, someone ambitious but also present, someone who's independent but also makes time for you, and someone who's attractive but doesn't care about your looks. Someone who's passionate but, you know, kind of chill. These people don't exist. It's very, very, very rare. And the reason you're looking for them is because you haven't actually decided what you want. Like, think about it. If I asked you right now, what are the 5 most important things in a partner? Could you answer that? Could you actually articulate what matters to you?
Not being mean to me. One, not being mean. Obviously being open, true to yours. I don't know. Dang.
Or would you just describe some idealized fantasy person? Most people can't. Most people just have the vague image of someone who's kind of like their celebrity crush, or something they can put in that Grok AI area, you know, like the sexual part. Like that's kind of
what?
Crazy, but you know, something they do with that. That's how they would tell you how they want it. And
Grok AI, what?
That's not how it works. Real people are complicated. Real partners are going to have things that annoy you, things you're not crazy about, things you have to accept because you love who they are overall. If you're not willing to compromise on anything, if you need someone who's perfect in every single way, then you're not actually looking for a relationship. You're looking for fantasy, and a fantasy doesn't exist. Unless you go to Grok AI, then yeah, you can do whatever you want, but it's kind of sad. I don't know.
Talking about like character AI and like, okay.
Like a good Minecraft example while I'm at it. It's like you're waiting to find a world that's perfectly generated to your liking. Everything needs to be perfect, to the terrain, to the trees, to the biomes, you know. Some caves that look crazy, beautiful caves. And at most times when you keep looking for those worlds, you gotta realize something. They're never gonna be perfect. You can't be caught up in trying to generate hundreds of worlds just to find your liking, because you're never gonna find what you like. It's randomly generated. You know, you either build it yourself or find someone who's willing to build it with you. So what do you actually want? Not what you think you should want. Not what looks good on paper, you know, on AI. What actually matters to you in a person. Figure that out. Be honest about it, and then be willing to accept someone who has those things, even if they're not perfect in every other way. Third reason, you are not actually putting yourself in situations where you can meet people. Everyone complains about dating apps, and yeah, they're kind of terrible. They're horrible. But you know what's worse? Just sitting at home waiting for someone to magically appear in your life. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're doom swiping at midnight in their bed, hoping that the algorithm somehow delivers them their soulmate. Meanwhile, they're not going anywhere. They're not in any social situation, so I don't even know how it's going to work when they meet up, you know? They're not meeting people in real life. The person you're looking for is probably not on a dating app either. Or if they are, they're also frustrated with dating apps. They're probably out doing things they care about. They're probably in spaces where they're naturally meeting people who share their interests. So if you want to meet someone, you have to actually go somewhere. You have to put yourself in situations where you're around other people, not in a contrived dating context, just normal life. If you go to college or high school, look at your class, join a club, you know, go out with friends.
When I was in high school, I never joined a club. Because there wasn't really any club that I was like interested in.
Volunteer somewhere. Go to places, spaces you like, you know? Do something you actually care about. And while you're doing that, you might meet someone. You might not, but at least you're living your life in the meantime instead of waiting for the apps to save you. And here's what's interesting. The best relationships usually happen when you're not actively hunting for them. When you're just out living your life, doing your thing, being yourself, and then you connect with someone who's also just doing their own thing, being themselves, and then there's an actual connection. But you have to be out there for that to happen. You can't meet anyone if you're invisible. Fourth thing, and this is also another big one, you think a relationship is going to fix something. Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you think someone else will make you not lonely. Maybe you're bored and you think having a relationship will make your life interesting. Maybe you're depressed and you think someone loving you will fix that. But here's the problem with that approach. You're looking for someone to complete you. And that's a lot of pressure to kind of put on another person. More importantly, it doesn't work. If you're boring right now, having a girlfriend isn't going to make you interesting. It's going to put your boringness on display to another person. If you're depressed, a relationship might help you, but it's not going to cure you. If you're lonely, being with someone who's with you out of obligation or because you need them, that's actually a different kind of loneliness. In my opinion, the strongest relationships happen between two people who are already okay on their own, who already have their own lives, their own interests, their own sense of purpose, and they choose to build something together. But if you're coming into it broken or empty or expecting them to fix you, you're starting from a losing position. So the real work is internal. Figure out who you are, build your own life, develop interest and skills, get good at something, become the kind of person who has something to at least offer. And here's the bonus, once you actually do that, you become like 30 times more attractive, I promise. People are drawn to people who have direction, who have purpose, who are doing something. Unless those people are bums, you don't want to get with those people who don't care about that.
Don't get with a bum. Don't get with a bum, bro.
And on top of that, find someone who also has direction, okay? Very important. Someone with a purpose. And that brings us to the last reason, you're just not that interesting. I say that not to be mean, but to be honest, because, you know, you're probably not that interesting. You're probably really boring. Now, again, boring is very subjective, but genuinely, you might not have any hobbies. Yeah, no opinions. Don't do anything. Just existing. And yeah, you might be a good person. You might be kind and loyal and all those things, but kindness doesn't create attraction. In my opinion, it creates a friendship. Attraction comes from competence, from passion, from the sense that someone is good at something, that they care about something, that they're working towards something. Are you getting the pattern?
Yes.
So like a job interview, what are you actually good at?
You need to have a goal within yourself that you want to complete. Like going to college and doing stuff or whatever to chase a dream. You can't just have no direction in life. You gotta have some direction.
What do you actually care about? What gets you excited to wake up in the morning? If the answer is, I don't know, or nothing really, then there's your problem.
Creating
right
YouTube
there.
videos,
That's
I
why
guess.
nobody's interested. Not because you're unlovable, but because there's nothing there to be interested in. Now, I'm not saying you need to be like a musician or an athlete or some kind of genius. You just need to have something. Anything. Pick something and get good at it. It could be photography. It could be cooking. It could be getting really good at games. Something just like that. Could be writing, you know, learning languages. That's a, you know, decent one. The whole point is develop yourself. Build yourself into someone who's interesting. Someone who has depth. Someone who, you know, when you talk about your interest, people actually listen because you know what you're talking about. And here's what happens. Interesting people attract other interesting people. You end up in spaces where you're around people who actually have things going on. And that's, again, where real connections happen. Another thing, having opinions, caring about things, even if other people disagree with you, especially if they disagree with you. You don't want to live with someone or be with someone that 24/7 is disagreeing with you, shitting on everything you're saying. You don't want it. You need to have some connection there. You need to have some, you know, relatability, something there. But to find those people, you have to share everything about you. Obviously not your social, but you know, your personality, what you care about, your opinions. But of course, if you're going on a first date, don't be, you know, super controversial or obnoxious about it. Not everything is, of course, about you. But have a perspective. Think about the world, form opinions, be willing to talk about them. That's what creates real conversation. And real conversation is where the magic happens. So anyway, just stop blaming the apps or people or circumstances. Take responsibility. You're single because of something you're doing or not doing. Or. I don't know. Maybe people just suck. Maybe the people you're finding just suck. But you know, 6 times out of 10,
Oh no, she died.
sometimes it's just you. Work on yourself. Pick one area of your life you're going to improve. One skill you're going to develop. One interest you're going to get serious about. Do that. Put yourself in social situations, not dating situations, just normal life situations. Somewhere you are around other people doing something you enjoy. Be vulnerable, let people see you, have real conversations, stop performing, have standards, but be realistic about them. Doing those 5 things, you know, doing them seriously, not half-assing them, you know, not for a week, but actually commit to them. Something's going to change. Something's going to be really different about you. Maybe not immediately, maybe not this month or next month or, I don't know, a year, but your whole situation is going to be pretty different. Soon you're actually going to be right and say, it's not me, it's them, right? Because you're not the dumb one in that situation. Anyway, hope the video helped. Not right away, that's not going to happen, but
where did that come from?
hope you guys are having a good day. Thank you so much for the support on the last video. It's going awesome. A lot of hours are getting into my profile because of it. So, gonna be monetized pretty soon. This video does the same. Oh, for sure. But if it dies 100 views, then maybe next week. Again,
That was a good video. I like his videos.